Outsmarting reality is a game of chess in which you are outsmarting your own frequency. How can you control reality if you can't yet control yourself? This is why self discipline is important. And if you can discipline yourself, how you can begin to live within your desired reality. And so, before I used to front on discipline, let me tell you a story. So, before I got into discipline, I would just do whatever I wanted, most like I assume every average human does. You know what I'm saying? There's no real rules to it until you really realize why discipline is even important. It seems like giving yourself full permission to do whatever the fuck you like isn't the best option ever. You know what I'm saying? It's like as a kid, I'm sure we're all thinking like, oh yeah, I can't wait to grow up. I'm gonna do whatever the fuck I want to do. You can't tell me shit. You know what I'm saying? And then you go ahead and do whatever the fuck you want to do, and then you experience the effects of your own choice, and you're like, huh. Okay. And so this is the beautiful thing about discipline, right? You're already disciplined. You already possess this beautiful, mythical, magical beast of a skill that everyone seems to launch as a fucking platitude. But in truth, discipline it's something that you already possess. You're already disciplined in who you think you are. You're disciplined in how you express yourself. You're disciplined in the things that you already do. You just need to realign this discipline. And discipline is important because it seems to be the energy in which you learn how to respect yourself and command yourself, if that makes sense, right? Just how I lift my arm here, I tell my arm to lift. My cells are disciplined to the desired force of my intention to lift my arms, right? But what about when you need to sit down and stop moving? What about when you need to do something that you really don't want to do? What about when you need to do something that's not going to feel good? What about when you need to show up for yourself in a way that you've never showed up for yourself before? And this is why it's so important for you to flex that discipline muscle. And so disciplining yourself in these small things simply means the ability to do what you say you're going to do, because as you do what you say you're going to do, you fill up your self-trust reservoir, right? And as you don't do it, you deplete your self-trust reservoir. And whether you realize it or not, your brain keeps score. So there's this thing, your subconscious mind, that's aware of the words that I'm spitting, just like you're becoming aware of the breath that you're currently taking. Don't worry, it'll go back to automatic soon. What we're becoming aware of is, consciously taking something over that was subconscious. Now, subconsciously, you've accepted a certain level of action and things that you can do as your current level of discipline. But when it comes to you being able to direct yourself to higher levels of discipline, where you need to maintain that state for longer, higher, and through more tension and resistance, it seems to not even be able to get yourself to show up. And this is because you've been depleting your self trust reservoir by not doing the things that you say you're going to do. And so it manifests as you just kind of being a pussy. Honestly, you know what I'm saying? It's like you just talk more than you speak, and actions become louder than words. And don't worry, bro, there's no judgment. I used to talk way more than I used to act as well, but now I'm like, it's execution over everything with Creator's Edge, because it's like my words are limited in itself, but as my parents say, I can show you better than I can tell you. And so, how I show myself better than I can tell myself is by doing the things that I say I'm going to do. As I do the things that I'm saying I'm going to do, whether it's waking up in the morning, whether it's doing the deep work routine, whether it's saying, hey, I'm going to try meditating every day, and showing up for meditating even on those days, especially on those days where you really like, I do not want to do that, when that feeling is emerging, and doing it anyway is you pushing through that resistance. Same thing in the gym when, you're at that last couple reps in the set, and you're still sending the intention, right, the desire force to your muscle to lift, but your muscle's like, this is all I got, right? But if you can you push through, and that's how you push your limits, and that's how you grow your discipline. But without discipline, you become comfortable, you become soft, you become unable to be who you say you are by doing what you say you're going to do. You know what I'm saying? You become what you think you are, and not actually, what you think you are, if that makes sense. So essentially, a man is as he thinks. And so if you think a certain type of way about your own self, then you most likely are that way, irregardless. discipline is the focus. And so discipline is so important because you're going to need that discipline to lift bigger weights eventually. Like all those small things are leading up to much bigger things, like you being able to sit down and do large portions of deep work to create your routines, or you being able to do the business back end stuff so that you can make that 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 extra dollars of income. But it takes attention, focus, and learning about some things that are potentially kind of boring, that don't really spark the same level of dopamine you have for those things that you intrinsically love, but still the intrinsic necessity of being able to do what needs to be done. And at the end of the day, people who take themselves serious, their dreams serious, and actually believe in the possibility of obtaining these things have to. You know what I'm saying? When you're living at your highest potential, when you want to live as your best self, when you're really embodying the highest level of a self master, you have no other choice but to do the things that you feel need to be done. And there's no one else better or equipped to do it than you, unless you need to outsource that. Then you have conscious discernment, you should outsource that appropriately. However, when it comes to just harnessing back on your discipline, it really just comes to doing exactly what you say you do, because as you do what you say you're going to do, you see that you trust yourself, your self-trust reservoir increases, the mind keeps track, it sees that you are who you say you are, and so you don't get all these random thoughts and emotions about imposter syndrome and whatnot. And the only way to beat imposter syndrome is by showing up, pushing through the fear, and pushing through that limiting, going through it anyway. Otherwise, you'll always be limited to that comfort zone, right? And so discipline is the discipline to sit in the chair, to turn on the video, to turn on the light, to set up the things, right? All the small things, to go through all the insecurities of turning on the camera, talking to the camera, and, saying, going through all the other insecurities of thinking, being self-conscious about the things that you're saying and whatnot. And then the discipline to do it anyway, because this is what you feel you need to do, which is honoring you, which is now marked as the ability to show up through all these things, which again, has invested in the S&P you or the S&P me, where it shows you that you have the ability, you're competent, you have the competence to do the things that you need to do, what you say you're going to do. And this is why discipline is so important, because it is the vessel where it shows you how to do what you need to do, even when you don't feel like it, especially when you don't feel like it, the hard work. And so without it, it's going to be almost, it'll be improbable to do a lot of the things that you want to do, because you just have to be disciplined. But the good news is you're already disciplined. You just have to continue to show up in those ways that you want to, continue to show yourself you are who you say you are, and continue to double down on that discipline to continue to grow your reservoir, right? Because you can do the task for so long, and this was a thing that I suffered with for a bit, where it's like, all right, you'll do those things for so long, and then you'll get into a state, and that state will feel good because it's the energetic investment of what you've been investing and nurturing through your discipline, and you'll ride that wave out. But what happens is that wave goes down. It takes your moment to moment, day to day investment of it to continue to grow and feed it energy. And when energy goes, where attention goes, energy flows. And so as you continue to give those things attention, give them energy, they give you energy back. And when you pull out, well, then now there's an energy leak, and then eventually you're in this spiral of, I can't get myself to show up, to do anything, to even get on the ground and do like 5, 10, 15, 20 push-ups, let alone push through the resistance when you get to your limit. You know what I'm saying? And if you want to be your best self, which we all should want to, you know what I'm saying? Like, what else is the fucking alternative? I love this shit, dude, when it's, because it's like, hold on, what else do you want to do? What else do you want to be? And if you want to do and be those things, you're going to need a certain level of discipline. You're going to need a certain level of ability to show up when you say you're going to show up and do the things that you say that you need to do, regardless of how you're going to feel, how you're going to think, and all the resistance you'll face on the path. But that, my friend, is how you manifest it. Is how you maintain your desired reality, and that is how you continue to embody a self-master, a disciplined, a consistent, a person who is becoming, moving, and embodying, the ideals of who they want to be, how they want to be, and what they want to see in their reality. And then, Lord behold, they get exactly what they want. But without this discipline, you have no ability to control reality, because you can't control yourself, and controlling yourself is the prerequisite to controlling reality. And so that is practiced through discipline, and discipline acts as that energetic teacher to teach you how to do the things that you say you're going to do, and show up for yourself. And that leads to that competent state, and that aura of confidence and competence that can be felt when people know, like, oh, this man is about his word and is honorable and noble in his ideals and principles. He is who he says he is. He does what he says he will do, because your word will not go through your All we got is our word. Your word shall not go through your mouth void, but it shall conquer the things that you sent it forth to do. As men, we have our word. As creators, our word carries information and instruction, and then our actions allow us to act on those things. So, discipline.